Here.
Vice Chair Wilson, Member Beamer,
Here.
Member Stewart,
Here.
Member Thompson.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. All right, moving over to Pledge of Allegiance. Danny, do you want to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, moving over to public comment. Do we have any? Is there anyone on the line? All right, perfect. No public comment. We'll move on to possible action of approval of minutes for the August 8th, 2023 meeting. Yeah, I guess we can do them both if there's no protest to either one or change.
Did you send the minutes with the agenda?
Yes, they were sent with the agenda.
That's what I thought. Okay. I just want to make sure I was getting the right ones here. So,
Looking for a motion
Mr.
to
Chair, I
approve.
would move to approve the minutes as written.
Do I hear a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Ayes take it 4-0. Bear with me, I'm starting this up here different. All right. Moving on to number 5 for information only, update and activity report on the Carson City Urban Wildlife Committee.
So unfortunately, I don't have anything to report on the Urban Wildlife Committee. I did have one person reach out to me regarding, they thought they had a mountain lion in their backyard, and I referred them to NDOW, to the Urban Wildlife folks at NDOW. It turned out that it was a feral house cat. And so she took a picture and sent it to me. I wish I would have showed you what she thought was a mountain lion. But anyway, that was the only thing that really happened. But I would just say that, you know, we're going into a season where deer are starting to drop their antlers here in Carson City. The laws apply, right, to harassment of animals and stuff. There was somebody reported apparently trying to follow some bucks over by the Capitol and trying to throw rocks at their antlers to see if they'll knock off.
Jeez.
And I think it's a little early for that. I don't think that, you know, usually it happens February, March timeframe, usually, especially the urban ones. But yeah, that was, we took the opportunity to educate a little bit there. And so that would be the only thing. And then, you know, really no bears or anything are hibernating. So it's pretty much they're coming out when they're nice days and eating a bunch and then going back and drinking a bunch and then going back to sleep, you know, at night. So that's all I got to report.
Perfect. We'll move on then to item number 6, an update on the November 3rd and November 4th, 2023 Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners meeting. Who did we send in attendance to that?
Let me tell you. Hold on a minute. Pretty sure I was one of them. Was that a Vegas one?
Yeah, I think it was the Vegas one. Yeah.
That was November 3rd and 4th, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it says that Vice Chair Wilson indicated that he would attend the November 3rd and 4th meetings. I did attend on Friday via Zoom. And let me get to my stuff here. Hold on. The fisheries division overview that was done, that was pretty interesting. Is that right? Oh wait, no, never mind. Never mind. I apologize. Darn it. That was a month before. Sorry. Let me get to the right one. I can't find it. Darn it. Anyway, well, let's defer to Tim when we see him the next time. So, Brand, if you're all right with that, Mr. Chair, if you can just make that a future agenda item that we defer to the November 3rd and 4th meeting to see if there was anything that Member Wilson had to report back to the board on that meeting. And if I find mine, I'll plan on just say Member Wilson or Member Beamer, and we'll report on that. I apologize. I should have been prepared for that.
All right, moving on to item number 7, discussion and possible action to elect a chair and vice chair for the Carson City Advisory Board to manage wildlife for the 2024 calendar year.
So currently, right now, if I may, Mr. Chair, currently, my understanding is Tim the vice chair?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. I hate to nominate. I'm totally willing to nominate him if that's the committee of the, but he has to accept that nomination. And so I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean,
It was my intent also to nominate him for the presidency, but with him being gone, like I say, he has to accept that nomination.
Let's just defer it to next month's meeting.
I don't know if legally we can do that though. I think it says it has to happen if there's a quorum established, it has to happen on the first meeting. So any thoughts there? Any of you guys want to do it? I mean, have you served as chair before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was right before me.
So, and I've served as chair before. Kurt?
I'm right in the political season,
Okay.
so I can't.
I'll just do it again.
Yeah, or one of us can do it as well if you.
Not a
if
big
you
deal.
feel- It's up to you. You want to do it again?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Okay, so why don't I would be willing to nominate Corbett to do that again and then nominate Tim to serve as vice chair. Well, probably not. I nominate Danny to serve as vice chair.
I would be willing to accept that.
I accept as well. Do we have a vote for,
I second the nomination for presidents for Corbett Fleming.
Or
And-
chairman for Corbett.
Yep.
Fleming.
Chairman for Corbett Fleming.
and I'll second for Danny to be vice chair. Let's do a vote on it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against say no. All right.
Perfect.
You guys have done enough.
We'll just explain to Tim kind of
How Yep.
how that rolled, and it is what it is.
All right. Moving over to reports informational only. Would we like to discuss anything for 8A, B, C, D, or E?
As far as the items come up, when you pull up the staff report, and it's just linking to the final decision on it, not the information regarding to each item.
I thought it'd be interesting to pull up
8E.
8E and C, just because it's right there and at least have a discussion to see what everyone on the
Yeah.
board thought about C. But yeah, E made me, I had some opinions on E, so I want to see what everyone else thought.
If you want to, let's engage in some discussion on that. That's fine.
Yep. Okay. You guys want to start with just 8C?
Yeah, sure.
Status of the moose in Nevada. So just a general idea that they're going to vote to start doing a tag on moose in Nevada, correct?
Mooses, yeah.
Mooses. We don't know if it's going to be plural yet and it's going to move forward. So if anyone had any discussion for it, I just thought that was interesting.
I think it's really going to be all predicated on, what the statistics are and their thoughts on warranting a moose tag. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be more than one or two. I can't imagine that, but I don't know. They didn't really have a presentation attached, I noticed, so there was really not a lot of. Did they? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I didn't see any data on it whatsoever, which kind of surprised me. So I'm assuming that they're going to provide data at this meeting. I don't know about the rest of you, but if the data was to support us a management plan, right? Because we have to actually establish a management plan for that species. If it was to support that, and we saw that, and it seemed reasonable, I would 100% be in favor of that. I think sportsmen just in general would be in favor of that. I haven't had it. I did talk to a few people at the show, actually, just kind of pooling them what they thought. A few people asked me when I worked the Operation Game Thief trailer on Friday. A few people asked, did anybody ask you guys? So a few people asked me about it inside and what I thought about it. I said, I think it's great if we could get a management plan that's, and I assume that if they're proposing this, the division has done their research and, I always, I always defer back to the professionals really, if they think that it could be managed. That's how the mountain goat season got started was, they planted just a few mountain goats up there and there was a few people, sportsmen mainly, that I remember when I was a kid hearing about that and listening to that. And there was a few people that were sportsmen that were in disdain about that because they just felt like it was too early to consider that. But, really the moose, it sounds like, based on the numbers that we heard over the last couple of years, holy crud, sounds like they're populating pretty good. So,
Yep.
I think that it would be
Yeah.
there
I
is
thought-
over 100.
That's the last I
Yeah.
heard was over 100.
Wow. So, I mean, maybe a management plan warrants that. So, or is warranted there. So,
I also thought it was interesting that it was Texas A&M that did the study and not like University of Nevada, Great Basic College, or UNLV. I thought that was interesting that they had.
yeah, I think there's a couple of different universities. I know that the conservation and education departments at UNR and UNLV both work with in cooperation with, and because they're hoping to train people that are for North America and they can go work anywhere in North America.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
and credential students and stuff.
So we don't really provide anything on this. If we did, because you can provide a public comment, do we want to say as long as it's
Yeah, on the staff report you can't, but I mean when we get to the consent agenda,
Yeah.
that one is I think the one that we will get one for.
All right, and then any other comment on 8C, status of moose in Nevada? All right, perfect. I'll move over to 8E. Did you guys get a chance to read this one?
I did.
Any general thoughts?
So I read the petition. I read his justification, which was attached as one of the middle pages, if you will. And he gives 10 different bullet points there, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm always going to be an advocate of having an archery tag. Number one, as long as it's responsible. I think archers should be given. I personally think archers should be given the maximum opportunity that they can be given to harvest animals. I mean, I like the idea and concept. Whether the management plan would support it, I don't know that without hearing how the department is really, what the biologists and stuff are offering as feedback there. If they come back and say that, hey, it's not going to have any biological influence on that on up there, then I'm all for it. I think we should support it.
I was interested in just isolating just Nevada because no other states really just isolate that I know of.
They do for certain species.
Do they?
Oh, totally, man. Like,
Okay.
I mean, Alaska's a great example, right?
Yeah.
But with the small number of tags that we already give, is it really feasible to?
So what I don't know is would it take away one of the tags that are already allocated, which I probably think it would. Would you agree with that, Kevin? Yeah.
And that's what I was interested too, because one of his major points that he hit was just he wanted to do it to help clear up the in-state hunters that are just bundled up with the max points, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to achieve that.
Yeah, that was one of.
Than it was to, yeah. Yeah, so you should probably come up and voice that for the record and state your name.
Please and thank you.
Let's open it up for public comment.
Yep.
If you don't mind, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea just so we follow a good process, right?
Yep.
Yep, and state your name for the record.
My name is Kevin Law, for the record, and you just wanted me to rehash what I said a second ago.
Yeah.
Law.
Yeah, Law, L-A-W. Yeah, my concern, I mean, I think that's great that if they did a separate archery tag, but my concerns would be is how's that going to affect the odds of drawing the other ones, the general ones, and based on what I've seen with the recent archery hunts that they opened up for desert bighorns in some of the southern areas for archery only, the draw odds on those look way harder to draw than the regular season tags. So if the guy's justification is that it might make it easier for, some of the people that are maxed out on points like myself to draw one of those tags, it might not work that way based on what I've seen with the desert bighorn tags.
Yeah, especially if people apply, more people apply for that one tag, right? So
Exactly. I think that's what happened probably with those few archery only desert bighorn tags that they did down south. I mean, that's what had to happen because look at the odds on them. They're way harder to draw than the regular tags. So honestly, I don't care because I'll probably die before I draw one of those tags anyways, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, that'd be my concern is just, how's it going to affect the odds for the regular general coat tags?
yeah, I mean, the reason that he gives in number 4 there, I think I appreciate you bringing that up with the desert bighorn because that was absolutely factual.
Mm.
Like it's harder to draw that when the odds are way skewed the other way to draw that versus applying for an illegal weapon and just hunting archery, right?
Yeah, I couldn't
Like-
believe it. I thought I was gonna have a chance, and then when I saw the odds the next year, yeah, I
Well,
won't
that's
put
good
it.
that you bring that up. That might be something that whoever goes to the meeting and represents our advisory board, we might want to just, state that, this was, remember, we did something similar to this with the Desert Bighorn tag that was an archery only Desert Bighorn tag. And that wasn't resident only, right? Like non-residents could apply for that too?
I'm not sure about.
Do they still
that.
have it?
Yeah, they still have it.
Yeah.
I didn't look at the odds this year.
It'd be interesting to, if we do it too, have the odds, especially
Yeah.
have the numbers there
Yeah.
present.
I could have been wrong. I could have read those odds wrong, but I'm 99.9%
I'll look into
sure.
that.
When I looked at them the next year, I was like, holy crap, there was no way I was going to draw that. I had way better odds putting in for the regular ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I appreciate that, Kevin.
Better chance to clear them up by adding more animals, right? Than increasing one hunt for it.
Probably. Yeah, if they were going to increase the quota,
Yeah.
if they were going to, that's a good point, right? If it looked like they were going to go down that direction where they increase the quota because herds are doing better. I mean, last year, that's what the report was, I believe, was that herds were doing better. They increased the quota, I think, by 1 or 2. I don't think we'll ever get up to the time when, like guys like Don Quillisi or when they drew. I mean, they think there was like 15 or 21 different tags or something like that, I think, at one time. And the die-off due to disease and stuff was just brutal on them over a certain number of years. And so, well, that's some food for thought. So whoever's going to attend that meeting, we should probably do our homework there and be prepared to maybe bring those points up and for the commission to consider, right? Yeah, appreciate Kevin Law for providing us that insight.
Any other comment? All right, let's move on to the consent agenda items. Was there anyone that we wanted to pull in particular to discuss?
Let's see here.
I mean, when I went through everything, it seemed pretty straightforward.
So I would like to pull 9C and 9D.
9C and D.
I can pull 9A.
Okay. And then just a comment too, I did have a gentleman from the NDOW office in Fallon reach out, and I feel I need to put this here and discuss. There was no changes on the fishing plan. It's just its second go around. And so by the law, they have to pull it back out and do it twice to go through the cabs.
So there's no changes in what?
There was no changes on, let me find it, the actual, what is it? Yeah, 9E. There's no actual changes on 9E. It was just their second round through.
And it stayed the same, right?
Yep, stayed
Yeah.
the exact same. Yep. And I forget the gentleman's name from Endell out in Fallon, but he called to let me know that he wouldn't be in attendance, but it did say the same. All right, so we're going to pull 9A, C, and D.
And hold on just one second. I just want to look at one thing. That's which one this was. I just got to check real quick. Oh, maybe I said the wrong one. Hold on. Yeah, let's see here. Apologize. Let me. Oh, it's the same. So, okay. Yeah, we can just pull. I think 9D
Okay.
and 9G as in George. I think the supporting material is the same. I think it's both. I think it's just the
It's the two different ones. They had the code, right? The two different codes that go with it because one's commissioner and one's regulation.
514. And I'm not seeing the chapters 502 and 503. Are you seeing the difference or no? They're both 514 Moose. They both have the same language that's being proposed, I think. It looks like it to me.
One's for January 26th and one's for January 27th. That's the only difference I see.
Okay.
The two different workshops.
So they're doing 2 workshops.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just pull the 9D. I think that what's being proposed is going to remain the same for both days. They're just holding 2 workshops, so that makes sense.
So, question then for you, Rob. Do you want to pull D and G since they kind of go together? And if we didn't want to support one, then it'd be hard to support the other. So, if we pass all the other ones through,
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just do that just to be on the safe side. I don't see any differences between the two, but
Yeah. okay.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think you're right on that, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So let's do,
So, we are going to pull. Do you still want to do C as well?
I want to do C, D, and G as in George.
Okay, perfect. All right. Rob, you're going to help me walk through this again like you do every single time. I would like to move for the Carson City Advisory Board.
Hold on.
Wildlife.
Hold on a second. I screwed up.
All right.
So C is not the right one. I'm sorry, you guys. So it's actually D. It's actually D and G,
Yep.
and then 9H as in Henry.
Okay.
Oof. And let's look at, let's pull 9J and 9K as in kite as well,
Hold on 1 7 and K is a knife.
and 9P as in Paul.
Yeah. And P. All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. I would look for a motion to approve as written for consent agenda items excluding 9A, D, G, H, J, K, and P as support from the Carson City Advisory Wildlife Management Board.
I move that we support all the items that we are not removing from the consent agenda that you just mentioned.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. All right, we will support all of them excluding the ones listed before. All right, let's start with 9A, Commission Policy 24, Hunting Opportunities Among Various Weapons and Hunter Groups, third reading. Danny, you want to start?
Yeah, so in reading this, you know, they're looking to amend NRS in regards to the allocation of tags from any legal weapon to primitive weapons. And when you look at the current, and then like a lot of us who are not having success with any illegal weapon have been choosing the primitive weapons, but which like would probably be a benefit for that. But I mean, if the majority of the population in the state picks any legal weapon, and it's already challenging to draw a tag in that group, why would be causing more harm to the general hunting population rather to benefit a smaller segment of the hunters?
So did we see, is that where it was going? Because they were on percentages there, right? Where it's like 85% was this,
Well,
or 75% was
when
any.
you pull up the notes for it, I mean, literally they're talking about moving tags from any legal weapon to the primitive weapon
Mhm.
hunts. As far as overall percentage of allocation, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you got 80% of the tags going to any legal weapon, and you got 10% bow, 10% freaking muzzleloader, and who knows exactly
Yeah.
what they are. I mean, where you have probably 90% of the population, 100 population, Nevada is any legal weapon. So now you take that and you make it 60, 20, 20. Now you still have that 90% of the population now trying to draw 60% of the tags. And where Rick and you had where maybe you have 10% of the population now of the 100 population benefiting from that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just have to switch our weapon choice, but it's still, Rick, and when you look at advocating for the general hunting population, I see it's doing them more harm than good. And it's benefiting a smaller segment.
I appreciate you helping clarify that. 'Cause when I read this, I guess I just didn't understand it from that concept. Like I
And I might be
and
wrong.
and it makes sense. I mean, it totally makes sense because they added a definition of fixed allocation. So that's now now it makes sense to me, I think. Man, I don't know if that's a good thing. I question whether or not that would be. I think that would not only provide less hunter opportunity, but oh man, I don't know. I'm concerned at two things: less hunter opportunity, right? And I'm concerned with there being areas that now are going to even be more overpopulated during hunts, right? Those two things. The two things I think we as big game hunters
Don't like.
don't like when we're out, when we're out and there's, 100 guys hunting the same area. I don't know if this is going to affect that or not, but
So question then, so there's some language in there too. So like 25% of all legal weapons goes to junior, right?
Yes.
Does that mean if it's 80% of any legal, is that 80%, 25%, not 25%, but 25% of the total? So really it's only going to be dropped down now to like 55% of any legal weapon can go to the non-juniors?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I know the percentage of the overall tags are dedicated to junior tags.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take that to pull that pool now you say you take that, for instance, I don't know what the numbers are,
Mm-hmm.
but if they take that 80%, move to 60, then allocating 20 to 25% for junior tags, now you only have
30.
40% of
Yep.
those tags for the adult any legal weapon. And I just say when
that's
I
how
don't know
my
what the stats are in regards to what percentage of the hunters in Nevada are any legal weapon, what are muzzleloaders and what are archers.
Yeah.
And I advocate. I mean, hey, I bow hunt. We can think I'm getting a muzzleloader, but I just don't know if that is a fair allocation of tags.
So my understanding is they take the full allocation of tags that they are recommending for the management plan, right?
Mhm.
Let's just say 100 tags, okay? They take 25% of those and allocate them to juniors.
Yep.
So leave 75%,
Yep.
right? Out of that 75%, there's a certain amount of those that get allocated to archery tags, a certain amount of those get allocated to muzzleloader tags, and a certain get allocated to any legal weapon tags. And how they come up with that is based on two things: hunter success,
Mhm.
right, and how many people are putting in
And demand.
putting in for the tags. What they're talking about here, the way I understand it, is saying we're doing away with that model. That we're going to just do a flat fixed. We're going to do a fixed. They call it
Fixed allocation.
fixed allocation,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Percentage of desired harvest allocated to any big game species and weapons group.
Yeah, so it would automatically be fixed for archery tags, automatically be fixed percentage for muzzleloader tags, and automatically be a fixed percentage for, just like.
And
just
basically
like
that's what
the-
it is now, but when you look above it under number
It's not
7.
though, but it's not that way now. No, see, so what they're doing, I think, is
Oh,
doing
it's off the
exactly.
whole demand thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what they're doing is doing exactly what they do with the youth tags. They're making it a fixed percentage regardless, right? And my concern with that, I guess, is that I don't particularly see that potentially harming the any illegal weapon folks. I see it harming the archery and muzzleloader folks
Well, what it says up
if it's a
here-
lot less. I mean,
Yeah. You know, it says in here, in most cases, this will result in a redistribution of desired harvests from any legal weapon to primitive weapon groups. You will need a greater number of tags available for primitive weapon hunts.
oh, gotcha.
And I'm on your side there, Danny, too, just for you guys already get rewarded when you use primitive, right? Because you already have better odds to draw because there's less people involved in those hunts.
That depends on the unit, man.
Yeah.
Pay less tags and it's the success rates are higher for your any legal weapon. That's a given.
Way higher, like off the chart higher.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, sure, come on, come up.
You're more than welcome. Yeah. State your name.
Kevin Law for the record. It's never made sense to me when archery has way less of a success rate, why they give so few tags. I would think they would give, more, like, they give way less than any legal weapon tags. It's always puzzled me why they didn't give more, of the archery and muzzleloader.
Explain to us, I forget, it was one of our meetings, is that because the success rates are so low, the way the model is set is that you reduce the number of tags in an attempt to increase success rate.
Right.
But it's rather than the other way to.
Well, they also take into consideration in that equation, my understanding is they take into consideration the number of people that are applying for those
Also,
tags as
yes.
well. And somehow there's an equation there that says, hey, based on that from the previous year, this is what the quota should be for each of these units, right?
Yep.
That we offer an archery tag in.
Yep.
That's,
I don't necessarily agree with it, but
that is what I've always heard too, but I don't necessarily think I agree with it.
We've had this conversation multiple times over the years, right? Especially when this gets brought up. And Rob's a big advocate for more tags. And I think that's a better solution than taking tags for something that already has a higher successful draw rate for being harder,
Exactly. So
just because it's got a less success rate in regards to actually securing it. But I also agree with Danny. I'd like to know the actual numbers because if it's 90 to 5-5, then we shouldn't be hurting it. But if it's
right.
70 to 20 to 10,
yeah, I
then
guess
that's a
my-
different conversation as well.
I guess my point is if it's 90 to 5-5, right? Then is it really hurting what's that doing? If all 5 of those people draw, really what's that doing, Like I can't imagine that has a lot of biological impact.
Well, I don't think it's a biological. I think it just comes down to hunter preference, and that I think you have a segment of hunters that want to increase the number of tags for the primitive weapons. That's how I'm reading this. Which is bad, as we've seen over the years, is that I know people have always been an illegal weapon, and then now they're getting muzzleloaders, and now they're drawing muzzleloader tags. And now you got a bunch of people doing that, so now your success rate is even less. So under this current formula, they're giving less tags to increase the success rate. And I get it. I get the whole flat quote, like flat percentage per hunt group, but I caution against pulling tags from any legal weapon to to increase, depending on the amount. I'm not against shifting percentages, but I'm saying if 90% of the hunters are any legal weapon, I think the percentage of tags needs to somehow factor into that overall percentage. And that's all I'm trying to address. Because that's how I'm reading it. But again, I've been wrong so many times, Rick.
Yeah, it's interesting too that you want to steal from one pot when realistically this is probably going to turn into 1 or 2 tags per unit that's going to be allocated to the primitive just to go up, because it's not huge numbers that I was seeing, right? It's like you're going from like 8% to like a 15% per unit for like a muzzle loader is one of them I saw for like pronghorns. So it's interesting that they want to
Did
pull
they
from
show?
one.
Did they show the percentages? I didn't see that part.
Yeah, I saw. It might have been on another one that I was seeing it though,
Oh,
because it seems.
Down here, it says, for standard, alternative, and non-standard hunt units, the fixed allocation will be set as follows. Any legal weapon will be 57%, archery 10, muzzleloader 8.
yeah, and that's for,
To allocate for the
Mule
25%
deer, huh?
to the youth.
Yeah, and the other percentage goes to the youth.
huh,
What, just from my perspective, I mean, and I don't work for NDOW, I don't run their hotline, but I see all the complaints on Facebook. Number one complaint is that it takes so long to get a tag if you're putting in for the any legal weapon tags. What I would rather support, I mean, like I said, it's always puzzled me why there weren't more archery tags and muzzleloader tags, and most of the tags were going to any legal weapon. I get it. There's more people that want to rifle hunt, but since they had a lower success rate, why not give some more? Just a few more to the primitive.
without
weapons
taking
folks.
away from the
With-
current allocation?
What I would support is not taking away anything from the any legal weapons and just adding a few more up the
Because that's not what this is proposing.
That is not what that's proposing.
No.
But what I would propose is, adding some more primitive weapon tags. Just from my perspective, I think a lot more people nowadays are getting into archery and muzzleloader
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. And it's not just because in the state of Nevada, you got a little better odds of getting one of those tags. Across the country, I see a lot more people getting into archery.
I mean, when you continue down through the support material, they go from species to species. So that first one was for mule deer. For elk, antlered elk is 75% any legal weapon, archery 15, muzzleloader 10. Antlerless is 80 any legal weapon, 8% archery, 12% muzzleloader. And I'm sure it's going down, yeah. And then for antelope, it's 85, 10, 10, 5. And then goat, yeah, I think goat's always any illegal weapon except for the archery take for a desert. So I mean, those numbers ain't bad. Overall, but
But that's where I was getting at again, where it comes into that same point. Why don't we just add? Why are we taking away, especially when it's going to be 2 to 3 tags probably per unit, and the success rate's still that low? That means every year you're not even going to get another successful tag out of it with the numbers.
Well, I think it's important also to note that the bighorn sheep, mountain goat, and moose tags would not use the fixed allocation tag success formula. So that would stay the same. I guess I don't know. I guess I kind of like to see the data on that. Someone's got to get hurt, it looks like,
yeah,
right? Like
Yeah.
someone's got to, and it sounds to me like they're giving more tags. It would provide more opportunity for tags to the primitive hunting folks and take it away from any legal weapon.
And then looking at, like I said, going through and looking at the percentages, I mean, I was stuck on the first paragraph. So, but going back and reviewing all the others, I mean, that's really not a bad allocation. So, I sort of changed my position on this. Just like that.
So are you in favor of it then?
Now, look, if they're gonna stick to the percentages I just saw, I think it's appropriate as reflective to the overall population. So I was reading that first.
57%
Yeah.
for mule deer.
And not taken into consideration. But I think there needs to be, I don't know if I missed it in previous meetings in regards to this discussion and as far as the change in the NRS.
I guess I just have some heartburn with it, but we go through the same process every single year. It seems we always seem propose to add 5 more to archery and muzzle loader when they come out with the quotas and everything that we want to do for tag allocation, and then they don't do it. And so then,
They did it this year.
oh, didn't they?
Yeah.
Strike that previous comment.
I think it's the 57% is for mule deer is that way because we already allocate 20%
25%, yes.
to the youth, you
Yes,
know?
yes, yes.
So really, in all actuality, you can add 57 and 25 really
Yeah, which is.
together, and that's really considered an illegal weapon tag, right? Like, I mean, I think you have to rationalize that, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
don't you guys agree with that?
I do now. I had
Yeah,
to talk through my own.
that's 80% of the tags still going to any legal weapon. I don't know.
Which is probably still
I'm
shy
kind
of-
of neutral on this. I don't know. I don't know how to react to that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just.
I just think there's more and more people getting into archery and still competing for the same amount of
I hope that it.
tags. And
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, I'm good with it. I know the illegal weapon hunters don't probably really appreciate that, but I think, what's been said is correct, right? Like it's factual that less people harvest on primitive hunting using primitive hunting techniques than any illegal weapon by a long shot. Like it's the percentage is like crazy. Per capita, if you will, right? I mean, less tags, so of course it's going to be that way. But anyway, well, I'm open. What's the pleasure of the board on this, Mr. Chair?
Sounds like we want to support it as the board and with our public.
I'm kind of in the middle on this one because
I am
I'm
too.
neutral as well. I don't know.
It's one of those ones where it's like you take a marble here, you take a marble there, you never notice the marble, but then once you get added up to 20 marbles, you've lost a lot of marbles. And especially right now, what really bugs me is it's like 1 or 2, 1 to 3 in a unit. Why don't we just give it to them? Especially when we've had the biologists already on that come when we do the quota and they go, oh yeah, for primitive weapons, when we add 5, it doesn't affect.
Yeah, there's no biological influence whatsoever on it, right?
So I like the end game of it. I don't like the proposed on how to get to that end point.
Now, if that does that, right? If this will, which they're saying that it will, it'll provide more tags for
Primitive weapon.
the primitive folks. I'm in favor of that part. I know that any legal weapon folks would not like that I'm in favor of that, right? And I'm one of those any legal weapon folks just because I can't, my mobility is really kind of gone in the tank since I've had these lung problems. But so I don't know, I could support it.
Like I said, after going through it and looking at the specific, even though I think they're don't represent the hunting population, I think that it's not so detrimental that it impacts the overall success rate other than where we're at right now.
I wish they did do a poll like you said though, where we understood. Is it 80% do any legal weapon and then you actually break it down or get it kind of close to that?
Like I said, they come up with a total amount of tag quotas for each unit or tags that can allot for each unit based on the management plan. 25% of those tags go to youth
Yep, for mule deer.
for mule deer, right? So just take that one. That's a good one.
Mhm.
For the for elk tags, that's a different story because
Yep.
there is no.
And then those numbers were more representative of the population. Where'd it go? Because that was like, it was like 80% was an illegal weapon. And then like 8 and 12, it was
Yeah.
like 12 archery, 8 muzzleloader. Pretty respectable to both.
I
of them.
still go back to why are we not building into the formula, right? That there is less success in primitive hunting techniques. Like they should be able to create a formula that says, hey, you know, based on the success we've had over the last 5 years, let's just say 5-year average, right? I don't know, broaden it to 10 years if you want to, right? What would be the ratio there, and what would it even hurt to allow more opportunity with the hopes to get that success up? It would be reflected in future year quota. Wouldn't you agree with that? I mean, I, I just think that that's a more responsible way to do it, and it doesn't really hurt anybody. We still can monitor the management plan and the success of the management plan. I know I'm not a biologist, but just to me, in my simple way of thinking and brain, it makes a lot more sense. But
Did they say anywhere in there, Danny, why they did this?
I know there's a lot, just like Mr. Law brought up. There's a lot of misunderstanding in how they skew it, you know, because their success rate's low, they decrease the number of tags, and then it's like when people who go to hunt the same areas, they get less opportunities. But I think this overall, I mean, I think they're trying to improve the model.
well, it says say,
Less ambiguous.
yeah, I think and they're trying to be as transparent as they possibly can,
Yes.
which I get it. The formula is not a transparent
No.
form model, right? And so they have on here as the purpose to establish hunting opportunities for the various weapon and hunter groups, right? And
Yeah.
so,
I mean, that's the purpose still, but it doesn't go into why this became a item.
Yeah, is this because all the cabs keep asking for more on the primitive weapons,
no,
and
I
so
think
that's their solution?
I honestly think, based on all my years on this cab, right, I can honestly say that you know, archers are vocal, and I mean, almost every year we have that, and rightfully so. They bring up I think a valid point, and I think this is the solution to be able to address that. I think that's what the department's thinking, that this is a transparent fee allocation model. We don't have to rely on you know, this formula that's not as transparent. This is as transparent as it gets, in my opinion, you know, but someone's gonna suffer from it. So based on a ratio formula. Knowing that there's no way that they're going to. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. So I'm actually leaning now towards, I don't think I support 9A.
Yeah. I'm neutral on it. I think, you know, I mean, if it's a pleasure of the board to support this, I will take a neutral position on it.
Kurt?
I'm with Rob. I'm pretty neutral on this one. I don't think there's enough data in front of us to actually be able to make a wise choice.
I just don't think this provides more hunting opportunity. I think it takes away hunting opportunity, you know? I really do. I mean, someone's going to suffer, right? Yep.
All right, so how do you,
No, any further discussion on this, Danny?
Yeah, no, I just, I think where we're going, I mean, I would vote for it, once I got and reading a little bit more and talking through it. But I think, since the neutral position, I said, so we just remain neutral and let the decision go to the commission.
Well, would be my motion then, okay? I move that we as a board take a position of being neutral on this to being possibly to possibly not supporting it based on the fact that, you know, we need more information on who's really going to suffer from this, right? I think it's apparent if what I'm reading here that the any legal weapon tag, you know, allocation is what's going to suffer. So we're going to be actually taking opportunity away from them. Like was pointed out, I think great was, you know, the majority of people in the state complain that it takes so long to get a tag, you know, and this is just going to make that even worse, in my opinion. And so, you know, I would be in favor for the department going back to the drawing board and looking at, you know, the fact that the success ratios, building that component into some sort of a formula, right? Maybe the existing formula that they already have and allowing for more tags to be allocated like almost every other state does, right? Like you can go to Oregon and they will allow unlimited spike elk tags for a week period season in like I think it's like 5 or 6 units. And you can buy as many people as they want they'll sell a tag to. And there's only so many spike elk out there to, you know what I mean? So yeah, so
let's give this one a whirl. I would like to propose a motion to remain neutral on consent agenda item 9A with a thought of leaning towards disagreeing or not supporting 9A based on the lack of information and data provided to the board to make a reasonable decision that we feel helps supports the general population of hunting in Nevada. And we would be open to them providing more data and going back to the table or the drawing board to fix it.
so I think that motion is pretty close to what my motion was.
Yep.
I think that we just need to maybe add the caveat, Brianna, in there that we also add that we encourage the commission and the department to take into consideration the success ratios over blocks of time, like in the past, right? The data we know is solid, okay? And possibly build that into the existing model that we have versus changing to a fixed allocation model that's being proposed here.
Do I hear a motion?
So that is my motion.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against, say nay. The ayes take it for no.
Brianna, did you get most of that? Okay.
Let me
Thank
put
you.
this in my notes.
First, huh?
Sorry to be a pain there.
No.
All right. Moving on to item 9D, and I would actually propose that we table 9D and 9G since they're the same thing, just different workshops on different days. Does that work for you guys?
That we table it?
Or not, I guess not table it, discuss it together and then vote on them together since
Yeah,
they're the same thing, just workshops on different days.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay. Perfect. So we'll be talking about 9D and 9G Commission Regulations 514-Moose for January 26, 2024 meeting and workshop January 27, 2024. Rob, you pulled these, so I'll let you start.
Yeah, so I gotta say that I read through this pretty extensively. I do think we should open this up for public comment in the event that somebody wants to make public comment after the board's done discussing it. I like the fact that they listed both antlered and antlerless moose. They modeled it after all of our other species, right? Big game species. So I do like that. I think I looked through it and it looks like they penned this correctly as far as adding another species. They put some harvest mandatory reporting in there, which I think is good. They added a non-resident moose tag, which I'm not in favor of that, but I don't think I don't think that's positive. I mean, for revenue source, I get it. I think they modeled it after the tag allocation fees of bighorn sheep and elk and stuff too. So, which is good. I'm glad they at least did that. But so I don't know if we have a say so in that. I think maybe they have to. But everything I'm seeing, I like. Again, I'll go back to I really want to see the presentation to make sure that I'm in support of this if the biological data supports us developing a management plan that would support a moose hunt. That's my thoughts on that.
Yep, exactly what I was thinking. If the data supports, might as well.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
But it's kind of funny. As soon as you said that out of state, I was like, why are we doing out of state on such a little population? But then I just had that same exact question for the mountain goat in
Yeah.
regards to should we do it? But yeah,
Yeah,
that
we did
makes
do
sense.
it. We did it right off the bat for all the species. So even when we introduced Rockies, that one really chapped a lot of people, I think, because that's probably the hardest tag in the state to draw is the Rocky Mountain Bighorn. So
I'm with you, Rob. I support Danny, Kurt.
I'm in support of this.
Oh, I'm in support of both
All right.
9D and 9G.
Anything for public comment?
yeah, you guys like it?
Yeah, come up and say you like it.
Kevin Law, for the record, I 100% support what you guys said, as long as the biologists can prove all
Yeah.
the info that we should have a hunt. I trust them, and I think we should.
Perfect. Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Do I hear a motion to support items 9D and G?
I put forth a motion to approve items 9D and 9G related to potential moose hunt as written.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All again say nay. Ayes take it 4-0. Should we use this the next go around? All right. The next one we'll look at is 9H Commission Regulation 23-04 Amendment to 2023 through 2024 and 2024 through 2025 big game seasons. Once again, Rob.
So the reason I pulled this is this is certainly something we should be looking at. Mainly the first part of that support material where it gives the explanation of proposed changes for the 2024-2025 season. I hope everybody got a chance to kind of look at that. Normally this kind of gives you an idea of the health of different units and different species of big game. And so it goes through each one of the, I hope you guys are looking at elimination of the resident mule deer tag, antlerless tag, at any legal for any legal weapon hunt for hunt unit groups 6-1, 6-2, 6-4, 6-6, and 6-8, which is area 6, 7-1 through 079 and 091, which is area 7, and so pretty much we're doing away with the antlerless hunt completely across the state, because those are I think the 3 units. I don't think there's any. I think it's only 3 units that offer an antlerless hunt, and it's the 3 big units really. And I get it. I mean, it's obvious to me. Like, I want to hear the division say it, but they wouldn't be proposing this, I don't think, if they didn't have the data to back up that we need to do everything we can to advocate bettering our recruitment, our herds and stuff. This was a mild winter, I think, so far. And I think recruitment's going to be great. You know, the fires and stuff that we had, and then we had a beautiful winter last year, which a lot of the recruitment really took a dive because of how harsh of a winter it was in almost all of the areas. And so I have a feeling they're doing this just so we can potentially raise our numbers back up, which I think is responsible. And so I don't see anything in here that would advocate any concern. I think it's responsible management. I like the new resident junior mule deer alternative primitive weapon antlered only hunt, and the resident junior mule deer alternative antlered only any legal weapon hunts to provide more opportunity for juniors. I think that this is maybe the commission's way of, or the department and commission's way of saying, oops, that didn't go how we planned when we eliminated all those junior tags. I don't think they realized how I don't think they took into consideration, the commission definitely didn't take into consideration how the allocation formula is figured, because when they eliminated them not being able to get antlerless tags, then that took away all those tags, like 20%, 22% in some areas of youth tags away from the majority of units. Mm-hmm. And so some even more, right? And so I think, I have a feeling this is how they're
going to go prevent the uproar in regards. I remember we was at a commission meeting and they did a presentation in regards to how the winter affected the mule deer. And also they had the same day, they had a presentation on how the disease and pneumonia affected the bighorn sheep, and how they found, because they're getting cross-contamination from the herds, that the sheep actually roam more than they ever expected.
They go from full-blown mountain ranges.
Ranges to ranges, yeah. But they had brought up a slide from outside Elko or Area 10, to where they showed for I think it was for March, where like the average temperature was like into 30s and 40s, and that this past March the average temperature was single digits. And then they had video and pictures on some of the roads. It just literally hundreds of deer that were dead due to the extreme weather. And I think, as Rob brought up, though it's closing, I mean, when you look at closing, like the big 6, Area 10 and 7, and that show, I mean, I think it comes down to that, the statistic, like we always say, what the biologists know best. And I think it shows great stewardship of the environment and our game species. And if they need to close it to have the herd get a rebound, I think that they should close them.
And I would also add that, you know, Sean Espinoza, who's the chief for that division, you know, I wholeheartedly trust, you know, his leadership, and I trust his biologists that he has working for him. Uh, Probably more so than I've ever trusted them. You know, not that I've ever doubted anybody, but that guy's sharp, and um, you know, it, I should have probably talked to him and got his take on this, on why they're proposing this, just so we knew wholeheartedly. But based on the write up, I think we're probably right in line with it, and so I would recommend that. I don't know. Do you want to open this up to public comment?
Yeah, I'm in support of this one.
Right. I would open up a motion to support agenda item 9H as
Well,
written.
do we want to call for public comment? Does
Oh,
everybody
public comment? All right.
good? So then I would propose, Mr. Chair, making a motion that we support what is being proposed here in agenda item, commission item 20A. On ours, it's 9H. So just so we know, that's the same thing. Of the 2024, 2025 big game seasons.
Do I hear a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All against say nay. 4-0. We support. All right. Moving on to consent item 9J, Commission Regulation 24-01, 2024 big game application deadlines. Rob?
Which one was that again?
24-01, 2024 big game application.
Did we pull that one? Jay? Oh, sorry. I didn't highlight it, sorry. All right. Let's see here. So on this one, this is mainly centered around turkeys and, oh no, it's the whole draw, right?
The whole draw.
So,
It just
on one
talked
side.
about, all the different species, Silver State, PIW. And then just set the big game results are posted on or before.
I mean, they're just changing some, they're not changing any dates, really.
No. No, just
Okay.
some other language that really doesn't impact the overall.
Good to go, guys.
Yeah, I think I'm good supporting this.
Good.
You're good, Danny.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. I'll look for a motion to support 9J as written.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All against say nay. The ayes take it 4-0. All right, I guess I
9P.
should have public comment, but I'll get that on the next one. Moving on for consent agenda item 9K, Commission Regulation 24-02, 2024 big game tag application eligibility and tag limits. Rob?
Okay. So just wanted to point out on this that really the eligibility and tag limits, everything's the same. I think it's more of a, I had somebody call me on this and said, hey, what are they changing tag allocations? So that's why I pulled this, but I'm not seeing any changes to
No.
how it's currently written. So probably didn't need to pull this, but I just wanted to make sure that I was reading that the way everybody else was too. So I would support, make a motion that we support 9J.
Public comment? All right. Having none, do I hear a second to Rob's motion?
I second it.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against say nay.
That was
Ayes
nine,
take it.
for the record, that was support 9K.
Yeah.
As in kite.
All right. Moving on to consent agenda item 9P, Commission Regulation 24-07, 2024 Black Bear Seasons.
Yes.
There was nothing, right? Did anything change on that?
Nope, it's all the same, but given this is such a hot topic, I just wanted to make sure that nobody had any questions or concerns, you know.
One question I had though, from the meetings that we have been, was there any conversation about, because I remember we had a pretty lengthy conversation with the NDOW representative that was here too when we went through this in regards to closing the season at a certain amount of females.
I mean, well, I thought for that, when we had conversation is that they've never got to that point in regards to the amount of females that were killed that they had to close the season.
Yeah, so I guess to rephrase it, I was just asking, was anyone there? Did they bring any of that up while we were?
At the commission meeting?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Okay.
So they didn't even talk about it, I don't think, but
No.
I'm a little bit perplexed here because in the past, it has showed unit female harvest and it doesn't show that now. So did they do away with the unit female harvest? I didn't understand that. I'm not seeing where it says anything about when
Yeah,
when a certain amount of females is harvested that they close the season.
Yeah, because they have the total population having a certain amount, just like mountain lions, but there's nothing about the females.
Yeah. So this is portraying like it remains unchanged.
Yeah.
And so obviously they did away with that then before. Was that your guys' understanding too?
Yeah, and that's why I was asking.
Did you know that?
I didn't actually realize that they did away
I
with it.
didn't know
but
that
when
they
I was
did
looking
away
through
with
the,
it, so-
the material, I didn't see the female harvest
Yeah.
like it was last year.
Right. They actually showed it last
Yeah,
year, so
they
they
showed
must
it
have
last
done
year.
away with it last year. Were you under that assumption?
There's nothing on there. Well, that's why I asked what was brought up about it and if there's any conversation.
Come up to the thing, Gene, so we can get you on record.
This is Gene Green for the record,
Thank you.
public comment. During season, it's, the bear season isn't at a time when they have cubs. And it's virtually impossible to even identify ahead of time the females. And I believe, I didn't remember them doing away with it, but they never reached the limit because you can't tell ahead of time anyway.
Unless they're lactating.
Yeah, and the cubbing season is after the season, bear season's over.
Right.
So there was no way, and that was one of the biggest reasons they end up, or within the size of the bear.
Okay. Thank you. So, Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we support this as written, and as proposed.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. Ayes take it. 4-0. All right, that closes our consent agenda items. Moving on to item number 10, advisory board members' commitments to the January 26th and 27th, 2024 meeting and March 8th and March 9th, 2024 meeting. Where's the 26th, 27th?
It's in Sparks.
Sparks.
Sparks?
Yep. That's what it says.
Oh, really? Huh. Where are we in March?
That was my next question.
I think it's Vegas. I'll tell you right now.
I'm trying to pull it up and it's like Misery. I'm gonna be out of town this weekend. Yeah, should be back Saturday.
I don't, um, do any of you have, do you have the, list that the division sent us of the meetings by chance? I think you sent it to us, didn't you? Or maybe Cheryl did.
Yeah, I could check my emails to look
If
for
you
it.
check real quick?
Yeah.
And see if you can tell us, I don't have my phone because it's in my phone. If you could check and see when the March meeting, or where the March meeting is going to be, it'd be. It's not updating here. Let me see. Do I have all my calendars? Oh, man. Let's see here.
Oh, man, why is this so hard?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It is
Las
Vegas,
Okay.
like in
So, so that's in March, we're saying?
yeah.
That means I'm gonna be going to Vegas 3 times. Like,
I think I could do the March 8th night down in Vegas.
can you?
I think I can.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'll be a backup in the event that you
Yep.
can't.
I'm pretty sure we
You
can.
want to take the state plan down there?
Not sure what's going on that.
Yeah.
Is it, we're, like I said, we're in that political season that
Right.
we've already had some issues.
So let me be the backup to you, Corbett. If you can't do it, you need to let me know like ASAP so I can see if the state plane's flying that day or if I have to get a commercial flight.
Well, I'm gonna be. I mean, I'll be gone, coming back Friday.
I can do Friday for sure.
And
I
if
can't
you
do
can do
Saturday,
Friday,
though.
I can do Saturday.
Yeah, I can't do Saturday, but I can do Friday for sure.
If I can't make it there, I will definitely watch it and make my presence known to the commission that you have somebody from the Carson City
Yeah,
Advisory Board present.
it's important that we do that. So just I was gonna wait till we get just to talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I think you're right, Danny. I think it's important that we do that. Hopefully y'all got the chance to see the letter that Mayor Bagwell received from the commission regarding cab members attending commission meetings. And I don't know, do you want to talk about that now or?
Yeah, let's just dive in.
You want to do that? So given that we're talking about meetings, I think it's appropriate that everybody, hopefully y'all got a chance to review that. Did you guys read that? I got to tell you, I was a little bit, I don't know, based on my response, you probably understood how I felt. I was not too happy with that one because I think our county advisory board, when you compare us to any other county advisory board, I think we do a dang good job at trying to attend, regardless whether it be virtual or whether it be in person. I understand in-person meetings are what they want, right? I get it. They want in-person representation, but they also need to understand that,
People
number
work.
of the people on this board have jobs that are outside the state of Nevada, right? So I'm fortunate enough that I have a boss that is 100% supports me as long as I'm getting my work done, doing it, and I'm happy to try and attend as many as I possibly can, but I have to think of my family too, right? And so, I was a little bit taken back that the commission, I guess, had the stones to send that to mayors all across the state, and the board of supervisors or board of commissioners that represent that, really typically appoint us and other counties as well. And my response back to Mayor Bagwell was, I think it's interesting that they did that when there's been multiple times where we have gone and brought the stuff before the commission and they have completely disregarded. So if you want to follow the process, that's great. Let's follow the process, right? But don't degrade the process by not taking into consideration what the cabs are bringing to the table as far as recommendations from the public they represent, right? And so, she said she was going to send a response letter in regards to that, but I don't know if that's happened or not. I certainly won't represent the cab when I say this unless you guys want me to, but I will absolutely be saying something in public comment
Hell, yeah.
with regard to that. And I will absolutely be calling them out on that and say, well, then maybe you guys, if you really want more cab members, if that's truly what your intent is here, then maybe you should be following what the cabs propose, because I know 2 times that we've proposed things just in Carson City, and we're probably the least vocal out of everybody. Like Vegas and Washoe County, they tend to be the most vocal. Elko County, White Pine County, right? And we a lot of times will align with them on certain things, but just because it's the best interest of sportsmen across the state, right? Many of which are the sportsmen we have in our county, they hunt a lot of those areas, right? They want to give input on a lot of those areas. So, I'm going to do it tactfully, but I will tell this board that I absolutely intend to give public comment on that. I won't represent the board if you guys don't want me to, but
You can represent the board.
if you guys all feel the same about it, then I will say, hey, from the county Carson City County Advisory Board, this is how the overwhelming majority of the board felt. Like that, we felt like a little bit taken back by that letter. And I get I think it's great that you're trying to get more participation, but the fact is that the participation you're getting, you're not even, multiple cases, you haven't even followed the recommendation of the county advisory boards. So, turnabout's fair play here. If you believe in the process, you want to use the process, then dang it, use it. Don't discredit what the county advisory boards say going forward. I have a feeling that we're going to hear that. I'd be real surprised if we don't hear that from other county advisory boards.
Oh, yeah.
So, public comment? Mr. Chair, you're good, right, with public comment?
This is Gene Green. For the record, public comment, I turned it on.
Is it on? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Anyway, I go to a lot of the meetings. As you guys know, I very rarely miss them. One of the things, we have Alan Genet as the new director, and they've made a lot of changes there, so a lot of different things are happening. But one of my observations has been, now I'll go to these meetings and there'll be 10 or 12 of the counties represented, but not all 10 or 12 get up and say anything. That doesn't mean they're not there and they're not represented, but because they're agreeing with the commission or they don't have anything totally negative to say, it doesn't go down on the record as participation.
Do you think, though, Gene, do you
and-
think that that's the case? Because
Well, that's just a guess. It's just a guess because a lot of people have changed. I know the vast majority of them that go regularly haven't changed as far as cab members go. They're the same ones most of the time, and there's a good number that do go, and a good number have something to say every time, and others don't. So I don't think that it's fair that if they say we're not being represented, because the cabs are being represented. Some counties, it's just almost impossible for them to make some of the meetings. You can look at Nye County as an example. It's hard for them to keep their cab together because they're so spread out. Pahrumps in Nye County, and
Beatty's in Nye County.
and Beatty, but Tonopah is the county seat, so that's where they have to go just for their meeting. And so it's very difficult for some of those counties to participate, even though they try.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little misleading and sad, and I know Alan's got quite a few different opinions than our last leadership there, but that is always to be expected in that sort of change, because both the director and deputy director left. One retired and one moved to another agency. So that's just a public observation, because I am public. And there's times when when I was on cab, we didn't have any dispute with what they were proposing, so there wasn't any reason to get up and say anything. There's other times when even when I was a cab member, I had personal things I wanted to talk about, and I did. But I did that as a member of the public.
Yeah, I think, most of the meetings that I've been to, in fact, all the meetings I've been to, at one point in the meeting or another, I think there's only been one time where they forgot to do it and they came back and they asked, hey, can we have the cabs that are represented stand up and tell us where they're from, and so before we can get that for the record. But every other time, I think they've done that at the beginning of the meeting. If you miss that, if you come late or whatever, then I think it's your responsibility to make sure that they know that that's the case, right? And I don't think that happens.
Yeah,
And so-
people, they always ask for, I have never seen one where they didn't ask us to stand and all the cab members stand and
Tell
let
us
us
where you
know
represent.
who you are and who you represent. But that doesn't mean necessarily that they're paying, that they're paying attention at that point, I don't know how they keep track of their records or why, or how they look at what percentage show up. It's very common for, like when we'll have a meeting here, Clark County may be on the Zoom. That doesn't mean they're not there. It just means that nobody came in person to represent the county.
Well, there's been a few times where I've been on the Zoom call and you try and put in the chat, hey, Carson City's represented, Rob Beamer present via Zoom, and nobody responds. And so I sent an email to Megan or somebody and say, hey, just so you know, I'm on. Obviously nobody's monitoring the chat. And they're like, yeah, we have it turned off right now. Like, well, you're asking for people to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're asking for people to chime in. Well, we'll make sure that you're known that you're here. I'm like, okay.
I've seen that happen on a regular basis. I've also had seen commissioners say, well, I just got a text from so-and-so, this cab or that cab. And it's amazing. The Bear League always knows how to use Zoom.
They always have
They
access to it,
always
right?
get through, but the cabs can't. So just
I don't know what the deal is. It says for me, when I get on the YouTube chat, when they do that, you have to actually have a premium YouTube membership in order to chat on it.
Oh.
And so when they were just doing YouTube only, which was for quite a while, like a whole year, none of us were able to do that. So we had to send an email to Megan, and I know to do that, but I don't think other people may not if they don't work for the state, right?
I had a couple of times when I was present and they were having trouble with stuff like that. I sent messages, not to Megan personally, to a couple of the commissioners.
Yeah.
I'm
Tiffany
sitting there with my phone, even though I'm in the room.
Yeah. I know, like
Because-
Tiffany was real good about,
Tiffany was fantastic.
yeah, she was real good about making sure that got on the record, which I appreciated.
Well, Tiffany, there were times when I was there, I miss her, she sent me text messages, did you get that? I say, yeah, we agree to, that
Okay.
kind of thing, but,
Cool.
thank you.
While we're on it, Kevin? All right, perfect. We'll close out public comment and we'll circle back for item 11 really quick for information only, future agenda items. Any future agenda items?
I don't have any.
All right, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:18 p.m.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Takes it.